is a familiar reminder of the Roman Empire in Italy. In France, Roman structures include this famous temple. In England, we find Roman baths almost 2,000 years old, and the remnants of entire cities and towns laid out by the Romans. Locations of ruins tell us something of the extent of the Roman Empire. From this Roman amphitheater in Britain to this amphitheater in the Near East. Center of Roman rule was the Forum at Rome, heart of an empire that fell nearly 15 centuries ago. Yet Rome once looked like this. How did such a vast, powerful empire disintegrate? To try to answer this, let's examine something of four of the periods in the history of the empire. Four periods associated with Marcus Aurelius, the soldier emperors, Diocletian, and Romulus Augustulus. Our first period begins with Emperor Marcus Aurelius. During his reign, the Roman Empire was at a high point in peace, power, and wealth. The empire of many lands stretched from the border of Scotland to the rivers of about 75 million people. Life during much of the reign of Aurelius went smoothly. In the provinces, owners of the great villas were wealthy and secure, even though the estate owner had little say in the lands of the estate, worked by slaves or tenant farmers. With the empire at its height, life on the land was good. And life was good in the cities as well. People of all classes went about their daily affairs peacefully, securely. Students read and discussed Roman writings that reflected cultures absorbed from the many peoples Rome ruled. The shopkeeper was a part of the Roman commercial system that gathered and distributed the products of many lands. This silk brocade came from Damascus, an example of the empire's far-flung commerce. To the merchants from many lands, Roman roads, such as this one, offered excellent communications. The Roman peace guaranteed that travelers might go from one end of the empire to the other in safety. In camps and forts in the empire and on its borders, a large and capable Roman army guard the Roman peace. A loyal Roman army was an important instrument of government, a source of power for a strong emperor. And Marcus Aurelius was a strong emperor. He was also a learned man. As he once wrote, "The universe is change." And change did come to the empire. Following the death of Aurelius came a period of great trouble for Rome. Within 50 years came a series of so-called soldier emperors, whose names are seldom heard today. Maximinus, Gordianus, Philippus, Decius, and others. In all, 22 emperors in 50 years. This period of the soldier emperors saw the beginnings of the decline of the empire. Let's remember that the vast Roman world was centered in Rome and held together by a system of absolute power in the hands of the emperor. Every emperor needed the support of the military to control a vast empire. It became more and more apparent by the 3rd century A.D. that whoever controlled the army could become emperor. But it was risky business. For out in Rome's vast provinces, any general who commanded troops might attempt to seize power. And more, the soldiers realized that they played a vital role. They could decide what general to support, and thus, in effect, create an emperor. And so for about 50 years, emperors were made and unmade by the sword. The result? Disorder and civil war in the empire. Lands within the empire were laid waste. Defenseless villas, once secure under the Roman peace, were plundered by Roman troops of one faction or another. In the cities, too, conditions were bad. Shops stood empty as the wars obstructed commerce. There were other troubles. A terrible epidemic swept through the empire, taking a heavy toll of the population. Food shortages and increasing poverty meant starvation for many. These were the citizens of a declining empire. When the border defenses were weakened by strife within the empire, Rome's enemies attacked. The Persians from the east. In Europe, tribes of Saxons, Franks, and Alemanni penetrated into the empire. The Goths broke across the Danube line and later raided Greece and Asia Minor. These destructive attacks were finally checked. But the attackers were not conquered. They waited for a better chance. And so, during this half-century of strife, a total of 22 soldier emperors reigned. This half-century saw the onset of the decline of the Roman Empire. At the end of this period, a strong emperor, Diocletian, subdued the armies and again established peace. Diocletian built these baths and other great public works. But in the cities, there was less business activity. Population had declined. On the land, farmers still gathered their crops, but the yields were smaller now. It is believed that in many areas, an important cause of decline was exhaustion of the soil. One way Diocletian tried to stem the decline was by reorganizing the government. He divided the empire into two parts, west and east. He personally ruled the east, and he appointed a co-emperor to rule jointly in the west. He further subdivided the empire into prefectures. In each prefecture, officials were responsible to the co-emperors. One result of this reorganization was a great increase in municipal officials.